All right, today we're going to be talking about partial quotients division. Partial quotients division. It sounds really complicated, but it's really not, especially if you consider that it's a whole lot like working with a chocolate bar. So I want you guys to study these place value blocks. I think you have a lot of experience with place value blocks. We've been working with them a lot. We've got the hundreds, we've got the tens, and we've got the ones. And in particular, if you pull a 100 block, which is often called a flat, or some kids like to call it a waffle, you can see that it has indentations in it. Think about a chocolate bar. A chocolate bar also has indentations in it. So when you're eating a chocolate bar or sharing a chocolate bar with a friend, you may not just take one piece off at a time. You may break off a whole row. Sometimes that row has 3 pieces in it, sometimes it has 4. So this is a different shape than a chocolate bar, but we can imagine that it's about the same thing. So we're going to imagine that our guy here, Ben Franklin, he's got a stash of chocolate. He's got full chocolate bars. He's got partial chocolate bars, rows that he's broken off. And he's got individual pieces of chocolate that he's broken off. He wants to share his chocolate stash with his 3 friends who have come over, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Jack Jewett. In order to share, in order to make it fair, he's going to try to divide up this chocolate stash into even portions for all 4 of them because Ben wants to have some chocolate too. So the first thing he's got to do is figure out how much chocolate he has. Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full pieces of chocolate. We know that each full piece of chocolate has how many of these individual pieces in it? It has 100. So 5 of those would be 5 times 100, which is 500. So 500 pieces of chocolate. Wow, these guys are going to have a lot of chocolate to eat. On top of that, they've got these rows of chocolate or columns of chocolate. Each of these are worth 10, and they can fit on the chocolate bar like this or like this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. On top of that, we've got the individual pieces of chocolate, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if we add all of those up, we've got 500 plus 60 plus 4. So the total number of chocolate pieces we have is 564. Now how is he going to divide up those chocolate pieces among these 4 people? Well, he could break them all into individual pieces like this, and he could say, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for me. But that would kind of take a long time. Is there a faster way for him to do it? Well, he's already got these full pieces of chocolate. Does he have enough to give each person 1 whole chocolate bar? Turns out he does. Look, 1 for you, George Washington, 1 for you, Thomas Jefferson, 1 for you, Jack Jewett, and Ben gets to keep 1 himself. Now he doesn't have any more full pieces of chocolate. So he's got to figure out what to do next. Well, that's what these indentations are for. We can actually break up that full piece of chocolate into rods. And here I'm going to switch out this full piece for one that's already broken up into rods. And now I know if I break up that full piece of chocolate, I'm going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rods. On top of that, I've got the 6 partial pieces of chocolate, the 6 rods already here. So that's a total of 16 rods. So we've got 16 rods and 4 people. Again, we could go 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. But that would kind of take a long time. Instead of giving out the rods 1 at a time, is there a faster way I could do it? Could I give out 2 at a time? Could I give out 3 at a time? Could I give out even more than that? Well, that's what partial quotients division deals with. There's more than one way to do it. I could give out 2 at a time, and then see how much I have left over and see, could I give out 2 at a time again? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that would work. Or I could look at my numbers and say, well, I've got 160 pieces of chocolate. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 rods. 16 of them. And I've got 4 people. Well, does 4 times something get me to 16 or get me close to 16? 4 times 3 equals 12. But then I still have 4 left over. 4 times 4 equals exactly 16. So I could give out 4 at a time. Finally, I've got these 4 individual pieces. This part is pretty easy to figure out. 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for Ben. The process of division is all about figuring out, can we divide it into equal groups? And then figuring out, well, once we've done that, how much does each person have? Each person has 1 full piece of chocolate worth 100, 4 rods worth 40 pieces of chocolate, and 1 individual piece of chocolate. So altogether, that's 100 plus 40 plus 1, or 141. Let me show you how to write that on the board.